Okie dokie, so I've been asked for some help with the measurements assignments, so I'm just going to come up here and I'm just going to do a couple. So this is for measurement 1. And basically what we have here is we have a ruler, and if we divided this ruler down the middle, I'll use a red pen. If we divided this ruler down the middle, it's got two halves. It's got the top half, which are all on an 1/8 inch scale, and it's got the bottom half, which is all on a 16th inch scale. And we know that because the amount of lines between the inches on the bottom are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And the amount of lines between the inches on the top is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that means to start with, all of our answers on the top would be with the 8ths, and all of them on the bottom would be with the 16ths. So like if I went to C right here, C is 1 inch, because you can see we get to the 1. And then it's 1 2/8. So the answer would be 1 2/8. The problem with this is our top number here is even, and we can't have an even number on top. So what we have to do is we have to reduce that. And you can reduce that by finding the greatest common factor, or any common factor for that matter, and in this case it is 2. So this would leave us with a 1 over here, and when we reduce, 2 divided by 2 equals 1, and 2 goes into 8 4 times. So we would end up with 1/4 for C. So that's like C. Let's just erase some of this. Okay. So moving along. Now, if we were to continue on this path, and let's pick out another one. I'm going to make this a little smaller here. Give me more room to do some of my figuring. So if I were to look over here and pick out another random measurement, I'm going to pick out n. And n is right here, which means it is 2. So we're always starting with 2. And then it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is 8 lines. So it is 2, and since it's on the bottom, it's in 16ths. So it is 2 and 8/16. So this one is 2 and 8/16. Now I have to reduce the 8/16, because if I have an even number on the top, I can reduce them. Now I happen to know that both of these numbers go into each other. So I do know that 8 and 16 would give you a 2, because the 2 doesn't get reduced. And 8 goes into 8 once, and it goes into 16 twice. So I happen to know that. If I didn't know that, I could just keep reducing each by 2. So if I reduced this by 2, I'd get 4 over 8. And I see they're both even, so I could reduce it again, and I'd get 2 over 4. And I see they're both even, so I would get eventually down to 1 over 2. And that's by dividing by 2 each time. So that's kind of the process we go through here to get our answers. Now, that's not always the case. Like if we went to m right here, m is 1, because we go past the 1 but not the 2, and then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So m is 1 and 9/16. And since this is the top number is even, I do not have to reduce it. So this is pretty much the overview for this sheet. Moving along, if I look at this sheet right here, and I'm just going to pick the bottom ones. This sheet, all of the measurements are starting from 0, and then they're going to a point. So like this first measurement here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it is 12 over 16, because this is a 16-inch ruler, because there's 16 lines between the inch. These are both even numbers, so they need to be reduced. Now I happen to know the greatest common factor here is 4. So 4 divided by 12 is 3. Oops, not able to really do it on the bottom there. 3. And then over 4 divided by 16 is 4. So like this one here would be 3/4. Okay. The second one's right on the number 15 right here is right on the line. So that's just 2 inches. The third one here is 3. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6/16. They're both even, so they can be reduced. If I divide both by 2, I get 3/8. So this one is 3 3/8. And then moving along the same kind of pattern, like this is 5, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 5 7/16. So that's some help on this page. Now, this one is the hardest one, and I'm having a lot of people have issues with this. So this is one I really want to spend some time focusing on, especially the last couple of questions. So, let's see, can I make this any larger? There we go. So the last couple of questions, like C to G, how do you do this? So the first several, if I look at this, are all A, which is 0 to a point. So it's really just like the first couple are like, I just drew a line from A to B. What is that? And then I draw a line from A to C. What is that? Then I draw a line from A to D. What is that? But then later it's asking me like, I'm drawing a line from C to G. What is that? And that's different because that's not starting at 0. So now we got to do some figuring. So what I like to do for something like this, for like C to G, is first thing I do is I identify where C starts. So it starts on the 3/4 line right here, 12/16. And then G's over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go until I find the next 3/4 line, and I'm going to draw a line right to it. So right there, that's 16 lines. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's 1 inch. And I'm going to look for the next 3/4 line, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I don't get there because the next line is 13, 14, 15, 16. So this would be the next line. So that would be the next line. So I don't get to 2 inches. This would be 2 inches. I don't get there. My next part of this journey is these 12 lines in red. So I had a 1. That's a solid number. That's not changing. That's the distance from here to here. And then in the red, I have 12 little lines. So that is 12/16. These numbers are both even, so I have to divide. Like I said, 4 goes into both of these. So this will give us an answer of 1 3/4. Because 4 divided by 12 is 3, and 4 divided by 16 is 4. Now, if you didn't know that, you could divide 12 by 2 and you'd get 6, and you divide 16 by 2 and you'd get 8, and then you do it again, and 6 divided by 2 would be 3, and then 8 divided by 2 would be 4, and you'd arrive at the same answer. So we got that one. So I'll do one more of these because this is really what I wanted to show. And kind of the method I go about doing this. So what's the next one? E to H isn't a long one. Ooh, looks like a lot of it got cut off. Let's do F to N. That sounds like a decent length. Okay. So F to N. So we'll start out, we'll make a green the inch. So F starts here on the 3rd 16th. 1, 2, 3 16ths. So if I go to the next inch and I count 3 16ths, I'm not at N. So from here to here, that's 1 inch. And then I can go to the next inch, and 1, 2, 3/16. And then from here to here, that's 2 inches. So I've got 2 inches. And I go to the next inch, and I go 1, 2, 3. And I don't make it. This would have been 3 inches, but I don't make it there. Instead, I have to do some counting. So for the distance from here to N is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So it is 2 and 14/16. Now, since both of these numbers are even, I do have to reduce this. So I'm going to reduce this from 2 and 14/16 to be 2, because the 2 doesn't get reduced. 14 divided by 2 is 7. And 16 divided by 2 is 8. So I would get 2 and 7/8 as my answer. So I hope this helps you with the problems. They're all like this. And you can follow the steps to do it the way I did for all of them. Remember, if you're a 16th inch scale, you can always count the amount of lines between the inches and put it over 16. And then if you have to reduce, you can. On the first page, the only thing you got to be careful for is if you're on this top scale, you're on the 1/8 inch scale. And in that case, you would put the number over 8, and then you would reduce. But I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask on Google Classroom.